Hi, it's Claude. I'm in the tiny kitchen again. This is my younger daughter Emily, and so we have game day tomorrow, and usually game day means you're going to have people over, you're going to serve up some game day food, that kind of thing. And so what we are going to do today is we are going to make chili dogs. And this one, well, unfortunately, it doesn't have a lot in the way of Pampered Chef products, but I will spend some time lamenting my lack of a Pampered Chef product for doing part of this, so you get that. But I did want to, I just wanted to preserve this recipe for posterity, for future generations, like this one and this one over here, okay? So, you know, sit back and enjoy. We are making chili sauce for hot dogs. Okay, so we are ready to go. We already have a pan here preheating, and by doing my water test, I can see it's somewhere between 300 and 400 degrees because the water is sizzling and disappearing pretty quickly. When the water starts dancing around as it starts to evaporate, that means you're up over 400 degrees. But anyway, so what I have here is about 2 pounds of ground beef that's going into this pot. Bust it up just a little bit. And here is where I get to lament not having a certain piece of Pampered Chef product, because Pampered Chef has a gizmo, and forgive me, I've forgotten the name, I'll look it up in between, but basically it is ideal for breaking up meat like this and getting it pretty fine. So I'm just going to have to use my trusty wooden spatula. And that's the key here, is as it's cooking, you don't want big chunks like you might want if you're preparing Hamburger Helper. Are you preparing Hamburger Helper? You better cut that nonsense out. Or if you are doing maybe cooking meat for spaghetti sauce or something like that. What you want is to really keep working at it and breaking it up as small as you can. You want very, very fine granules. So I'm going to keep working on this for the time being. And you're going to get that funky 5-second transition slide, and I'll see you on the other side. All right, we are back, and you can see the meat is broken into very, very fine granules. You want to get them as small as you can. The other thing, remember, or you might notice that I didn't say drain the meat. You don't want to drain the meat, okay? You do want some of the water that's in there that the meat is releasing to evaporate off, and that's been happening. But as far as the fat, if you keep it in there, most of it's just going to suck right back into the meat. And remember, fat means flavor. That's how I get the women. Anyway, so this is just about done. So I'm going to turn this down to low for the time being. And we are going to mix in a couple of packages of onion soup mix. This is a wonderfully generic package, isn't it? It's also a very tough package, so I'm just going to whack it open. In goes the onion soup. That's package number 1. And package number 2. Look how easy. This is it. This is our second step, and we're almost done. Okay, we have 2 cups of black coffee. I don't drink coffee, and my wife often makes flavored coffee, so I said, you know what, I'm out anyway. I'm just going to stop at 7-Eleven and get a large coffee, which has 16 ounces. That's my 2 cups of coffee. Okay, we also need 1 can of tomato paste, and I've already taken off the ends, so the bottom, one side is off altogether. The other side is cut, but it's loose, and I'm going to push down to extrude it out, which means, of course, fishing out the lid. But then you're lucky, good at grabbing it before it goes under. That's good paste. All right, we also need, in my measuring spoon, some chili powder. Incidentally, you go into the supermarket and you're looking for spices. Rather than going to the spice section, go look at like the Goya section, that kind of thing. don't be afraid of discount spices, okay? It's often cheaper over there if you have an international section, and they do have spices. Around Baltimore, we have a lot of supermarkets that specialize in food from other countries and that kind of thing, and you go into those places and you can get spices pretty cheap. There's a lot of markup on spices. Tablespoon of chili powder. All right, we're also going to need cumin, and of the cumin, let me get the smaller or different spoon. We're going to get a teaspoon, there we go, of the cumin. We're also going to bump my camera, and we're going to get some allspice. Oops, I'm making a mess here. Sometimes it's a good idea to measure over your food, because if it spills, it just goes right in. Other times, if it spills a lot, you got a problem. So that's allspice. Teaspoon of allspice. Vinegar we need. Some basic white vinegar. I guess you could use red vinegar if you wanted. Haven't tried it, but it'll work. About a quarter cup. And you need some Worcestershire sauce, or if you watched a lot of Warner Brothers cartoons when you were a kid, Worcestershire. And we're going to need about a tablespoon of the Worcestershire. One more. We're going to need some sugar. And of the sugar, we are going to need 3 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3. By the way, the tool that I couldn't remember the name is called the Mix and Chop. All right, and it looks like a handle with, I don't know, about a half a dozen, maybe a little bit more blades on it. And you just get in there and bust stuff up. And it's not just good for breaking up ground beef, although it appears to be awesome for that. But it's also good if you want to make guacamole. If you want to scramble some eggs in the pan, you can do that. It's much more versatile than you originally think it is. So it's called the Mix and Chop. Go get one. I'm going to get one this week. All right, and we're just going to stir all this stuff together. And remember that I put the heat on low just to buy me some time while I'm mixing everything together. And you can see it's pretty thin stuff right now. That's going to change. So I'm going to bring the heat back up again, and we are going to bring this to a boil. And then you may not have to do this with your stove. I'm going to have to do it with mine. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up another burner on low. Because once you've got everything mixed up, and this has come to some kind of a boil, we are going to reduce the heat all the way down to low to keep it at a simmer. You don't have to, but I like to cover mine partially just to keep some of the splashing down. Sometimes when you're stirring, it's hard to tell whether it's at a boil. You got to stop and check it out. And it is actually just about at that point. Yep. So I'm going to move it over to the back burner, where it is on dead slow low. Give it a cover, but a cover that allows some venting, because you do want some of that stuff to evaporate off. And that's it for now, okay? So you are going to let it simmer for 2 hours. Honest to God, 2 hours, okay? Leave it there. Come back every now and then. Give it a stir. But for the most part, don't worry about it too much. And I will see you in 2 hours. Well, 5 seconds after the transition slide starts, you know what I mean. Okay, so our chili has been simmering for a shade over 2 hours, and Emily's not been standing here the entire time. It's the usual bit when you're the cook for the family. Is like, they come in, they go, "Oh, that smells good," and then they disappear while you do all the work, and then they come in and join in the spoils. But this is the taste test, right? So we're at the end here, and look how dark it got, by the way. Remember how light it was before? And as I mentioned before, we didn't drain it off. There is some fat that has floated to the top. At this point, if you are so inclined, you can drain it off, but most of it actually stayed inside with the meat. So let's give it the go. If she lives, I'll serve it to everybody else. So. And the word is?
Tasty.
Is it like there's a party in your mouth and everybody's invited?
Oogie, oogie, oogie.
Higher praise one cannot expect. So this is the sort of thing now. What you can put it on your regular hot dog if you want to do that. What we like to do around here is Baltimore has a product. It's a Polish sausage called Polak Johnny's, and you can get it through the internet. And I believe they're just at polakjohnnies.com. I will double check that and put a little super right about here on the screen. And these you can grill them outside. You can grill them on a flat top, and they're actually pretty good that way. You can also do it with any other smoked sausage that you can buy in the supermarket. I know Johnsonville makes a lot of brands that are a similar size and come in similar size packages. And actually, they make one that has like little bits of cheddar cheese in it, which would be a pretty good combination for this. But this is good like any other chili dog. You can put like, raw onions on it. You can put, whatever condiments you like. It's all just generally good. So, that said, that is it for Coney Island hot dog chili sauce. Bon appetit, and I'll talk to you soon.